Oh,
Good morning, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer, and I am here with Deathrite Ben to co-commentate this slugfest that's about to happen. We've got Simic Affinity versus Jund Ben. I know you're hyped for this one, my friend, and thank you, by the way, for being such a generous sponsor, doing so much organizing work for this tournament. So let's hear your thoughts, man. Who do you think's going to take this one? We've got Nostia off to a really fast start, by the way, but yeah, tell us what you think.
right. Well, first of all, it was a real pleasure and whole lot of fun to be involved and helping get the tournament going and whatnot. I had a lot of help from others,
Yeah.
but here, for the game, I expected a start like this from Nastia's deck.
Yes.
It's very fast. I really like how he planned ahead to the format pretty much with
Hmm.
building a chalice deck and yet still being really quick with really cheap spells. It was a really neat design.
Absolutely. He's got value for days and he's got really relevant hate. And
Right.
he's got a milled Uro off of the Emery. So
I
just
know.
so much synergy and value. And but we've got Deathrite Shaman T1 on the other side. That is exciting too. But
Right.
Ironworks will have to find a way to stop this Emery loop, of course. And
Oh yeah, for sure. His hands are full here with just threats to try to answer. The one thing that's pretty cool though with Deathrite is it's a quick and easy way to eat an Uro.
yes,
So
no doubt about it.
that's pretty handy.
Oh,
So if he can
absolutely.
try to quickly answer some of these bigger value engines like Emery and Uro, I think is going to be really important for him.
Yeah. Yeah, no question about it. So yeah, we've seen Chromox used as simply a cost reducer, basically for that Thoughtcast, and
Yeah.
the Bobble Loop is established. There is an Oko in hand. We've
An
got
Oko in hand.
a lot going
Nice.
on here.
Very nice. On this side, we have actually you have a really powerful setup. It's like an embarrassment of riches, if you will, because we have Oko, Ren, Liliana, Bloodbraid,
Wow.
and a Bolt. So there's pressure. I was like, what angle do you pick here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just probably taking care of Emery, and Ironworks does the same thing. Yep, Emery goes
Right.
down.
Well, and you can actually two for one here. He can take care of Emery with this Bolt and eat Uro before it's too late, basically.
Yep.
The only and that's not even a downside, but the only I guess consideration would be you're doing that instead of using the mana advantage to
Right.
land one of
Exactly.
these super powerful 3 mana walkers.
Yes. Yes, you're right. And interestingly, we've got some not great lands in hand for Nostier. He's got a lot of card advantage going here, but there's another Riverglide Pathway, there's a Cascade Bluffs, and there's a
Mm.
Fiery Islet.
Oh, Fire Highlight adds it
So,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a Black Leaf Cliffs over here in hand. So the mana is pretty good, and actually Deathrite, of course, really helps with the mana. That
Yeah.
would yeah, that would give him the blue for Oko or Broko, shall we say. So we have a Bobble on the stack. Constant card drawing going.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of live ones, Karn the Great Creator and Metallic Rebuke. So maybe Nostier is hoping for nice tempo positive counter magic, untap, play the Karn. But we'll see what Ironworks decides to do here, of course. The beauty of
Right.
Deathrite Shaman is it does enable so many different lines of play, including more reactive ones, right? And
Oh, for sure.
that's just one of many things the card does. But
Yeah, the versatility is amazing.
yep, exactly.
Super biased for the card, but whenever I played some with the test rounds with the guys here, and I was like, "Yep, this card is really powerful." So,
It sure is.
uh,
So we see the Yoko come down on the stack, and of course, that's a primo mystic or metallic, excuse me, rebuke target. And you have to say that Nostier is a little bit unlucky to draw just the only couple of red lands, really, that he has, the only blue-red lands. These are mostly to enable sideboard cards, but the Oko
oh,
was
right.
rotting in hand, but now Oko can be cast, or Karn can be cast, we're about to see. But kicking it off with a Fiery Islet, very interesting. Okay.
Fiery Island. Okay.
Yeah, Chalice of the Void has been found, and we're going for it.
Oh boy, Chalice. This will be interesting when he puts it on.
Yep.
He's got pressure both 1 and 2. There's just a lot that he would need to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, Fjord and I mentioned this in the pregame show, but this is a great meta to play Chalice of the Void in with the lack of big mana, right? The lack of Eldrazi.
Oh yeah, completely
Yep.
agree. I really like that. Like I said earlier, I was alluding to that in terms of his planning ahead to think about. It's like, okay, especially with the group, it's like there will be a lot of people really cashing in on the cheap spells 1 through 3. It almost abused just so much of it. So
Yeah.
playing a deck that focuses more on zeros
Yeah,
to gain
absolutely.
to excel, and then just dump out a Chalice on 1 and 2. I think it was a really good plan.
For sure. No doubt about it.
And obviously, it's done pretty well. I mean, here he is in the top 8, duking it out. So
Yep.
pretty sweet.
It sure
All
is.
right.
Ironworks opting for a little acceleration, resolving 2 planeswalkers. Nice.
It's a really
classic
sweet turn there. Powerful turn.
Yep. And 1 Oko will be pitched, but there is another one in hand.
Let's see, if I was playing this and then I saw my opponent pitch an Oko, I would be concerned.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Nastia's
no!
drawn Tree of Tales. A green land does give him the chance to play Oko over Karn, and he will go for that. So again, Nastia has been pretty unlucky here to have missed a green land for so long, but now we get to animate Chrome Mox. I'm having a little bit of PTSD from when Oko was League Modern. I'm not gonna lie.
I hear you 100%. I have to agree. Yep. Same thing happened to me. I'm a little surprised he didn't Oko the Deathrite Shaman. That may have been just completely incorrect, though. I think it's something to consider.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it definitely is something to consider. You got to respect the Liliana in this situation, though.
That is true. That is true. Pressing the advantage. Bloodbraid. All right. Cascade. See what we hit.
Into another Deathrite.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
And it is going to get
honored. See it.
Still correct to cast it, though, gets it out of the deck,
sure.
the graveyard and all that.
Definitely.
But yeah, a bit of a brick.
Right. Here, just goes to show the power of Oko and how quickly we've got a Bloodbraid and a Deathrite attacking, and it'll still be alive, active, creating value. And he's having to put all his resources into just to trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. This is a classic play pattern of mid-range against Oko, but Ironworks, putting together the kill. Renin 6 with a takedown. Very, very nice stuff. The draw for turn is Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Interesting. Once again, Karn is an option, but once again, I kind of expect Emery to hit the field instead, but we'll see. Going to do the attack first.
So it's interesting that with Karn being so powerful that these cheaper spells are the ones being selected.
Yes. I think it's just a matter of not being able to protect Karn, whereas the other cards like Oko and Emery are ones that will snowball the game unless Ironworks is able to answer. And as you said, Ironworks dedicated a ton of resources to just answering the Oko. Now he's got another out of Emery, right? So I think that's what's going on here. Then the hope is that when the dust settles, Karn will find something to just marry the gun player for good.
All right. Interestingly, on this side, we drew a Thoughtseize. So this is, that was an excellent top deck.
I think Ironworks will be at least considering holding it to force action through, but he'll be rewarded if he fires it now because, of course, the last card in hand is Karn, the Great Creator.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and he's considering. There's a little bit of a pause here. He's kind of weighing the options, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're both forgetting the Chalice. Chalice is gonna lock that up.
Yeah, you're right. See, I don't play against that card very often, so
we've got a lot
Chalice checked myself and failed a few times.
Right. We've got some other unfamiliar faces too. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit of leeway here to miss things because this is a wild world of NBL Modern.
Man.
Speaking of Chalice, another Chalice has been drawn. So we've got the Emery loop. Nostier is consulting his sideboard here, seeing, okay, what exactly is my premier tutor target for Karn here if I decide to go on the Karn plan.
Okay.
So,
planning ahead a little bit.
yeah.
Nice.
He does go for the Karn. I think there was at least some consideration to a Chalice on 2 there to maybe start fully locking all but the very best Jund top decks out of the game, but instead we do go for the Karn.
Right. Yeah, I agree completely. That was almost a 50-50 decision because
Yeah.
I mean, if you put a chalice on 2, it can help further protect the Karn. What would really suck about that is if we top deck a Liliana on this side, and maybe
Yes.
just like roll, like I gambled long enough, time to get this down, possibly.
Oh, funny enough that you made that call, Ben, because the bauble reveals a Liliana's about to come off the top.
Oh
So
wow!
with that info, we'll go tutoring with the Karn, and we've got a nice little spread of 8 cards, but we're going for Liquimetal Coating, which is definitely a really strong one. There are questions over whether Red and 6 can help weather that and what else is going on, but it's possible the Chalice will be pitched to Lily to protect the coating if indeed Lily ticks up. Lily might
Right.
tick down there too pretty easily.
Yeah, there's a possibility for that. Emery is just recurring value.
Ooh,
So trying
Noctier's
to.
Bauble Draw yields Force of Negation, but there's no other blue card in hand.
Oh man.
The downfall of Simic Affinity, right? No, not enough of the robots or the artifacts are also blue. I still think Force is an incredible inclusion here because, as we've seen already, the speed and the value generation, Force is a definite free roll inclusion in those aspects. But the density of blue cards a little lower than is ideal for Force, right? And we're seeing that here. So,
Sure. Yeah, I would agree completely. But yeah, like you said, the format's really fast. There's a lot of combo-esque elements throughout. So yeah, force just seems
yeah,
necessary. If you can even sort of slot it in, it just feels really necessary.
for sure. Okay, so I think this is intelligent play from both players. We see Ironworks offer the attack, offer the trade first, of course, then hoping to edict Emery after a trade happens. Nostier
Nice.
sees that. Nostier says, sure, I got a 2-for-1 with Karn. You can,
Right.
replaced itself, I guess.
Sure.
You can have him, and I'm going to protect my Emery because the Emery loop is very, very good against mid-range. So,
Yeah, I think I was really heads up too because just initially looking at it, I think instinctually you would want to protect the Karn, your format and a walker. So I
yes.
really like that. That was a good heads up play.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I was thinking
Ooh,
about
but
that chalice. What
he's a
happened? What we
little
got?
bit punished for it just because he drew another Emery. You could regard this as just
Oh,
more insurance that the loops will keep coming, but at the same time, in the immediate term, is a little bit punishing. Emery
right.
also pitches to Force, though, so maybe that is a pretty good draw, all in all. Oh, or he can just play another one. That's
Interesting.
interesting. Yep.
I liked the
Looking
point you
for
made about it pitching to force, so that surprises me a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, well, I guess he can hardcast Force if that's part of the plan with the sequencing. So there's
True.
that.
That's a good
There's
point.
so much going on here,
Yeah, they're
and
moving pretty quickly right now.
they are. Yeah, this is fascinating. Definitely one of the cooler matchups, I think,
Oh yeah, this is really
with our
interesting.
top 8 bracket here. Fatal Push about to come off the top. I see for Ironworks. So
This
Deathrite
chalice is doing
Shaman.
a lot of work. We've
Yep,
had a
exactly.
Thoughtseize just locked in dead in hand here for several turns. About to draw
Yes,
another dead draw. Yeah.
absolutely right.
So it's interesting. Nastia had to make a decision there or make a consideration when he went with the Karn tutor when he grabbed liquid metal coating. It's 2 to cast that, correct?
Correct.
So that made that the chalice on 2. He kind of had to choose there a little bit of, all right, am I going to put this on 2, try and slow down
Absolutely.
threats, or
Yeah,
am I going to put my own 2 mana threat?
yeah, good point for sure. And speaking of that, Chalice on 2, that ends up being the pitch to Liliana, interestingly. Another
Okay,
card off the top. All right, so
interesting.
These are some pretty solid top decks all in all for an Ostier. We're still only on 1 green mana, so the prospect of finding and then escaping an Uro, we're not quite there. But
Right.
this is definitely good enough, you know. Emery, Oko,
Emery's
Arn. Oof.
all right. So will this give him? No, that won't give him this other
I
green
think
mana.
he's going to buy back Mox Opal to play Karn into coding.
Okay. Very nice.
But he'll need to tutor something else with Karn in order to turn Mox. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Trio Tails. Mox Opal is live to cast Liquid Metal Coating right now.
Okay.
Whether he will be doing that, I'm not sure.
Right. Let's see what he comes up with here.
Yep.
And
I think he might be considering plus oneing with Karn here. But I think there's a lot of consideration to just continuing to draw cards, right? Just go tutor something with Karn and keep
right.
burying the opponent with the Emery loop. This is a tough spot for an Ostier to maybe play optimally. At the same time, I don't think there's necessarily a bad play.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so
That would make sense.
These are the sideboard.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of drawing more cards, I mean, the biggest thing, it looks like he's just still needing that green mana, because otherwise, all right, so he opts for the liquid metal coating here.
Yes, he does.
Interesting. I'm going to start blowing up some lands.
Yep.
This is interesting because you have both Deathrite and Ren, so this is not as strong as it could be.
Exactly. It would be a genuine win condition in a lot of
Right.
cases. But here it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean,
Slowing it down a little bit. He's having to play a little bit of a slower, longer game here, where he's just accruing a card advantage, drawing 2 cards a turn, start slowing down the mana over here,
yeah,
making him
exactly.
pressure other permanents like Karn and stuff instead of life total. So,
Yes.
we got Kiddo, the background here,
we love
filing
to
a
hear
complaint.
it. Excited by the gameplay as are we all.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this kind of stops the Ironworks from double spelling to some degree, and also, as you said, prolongs the game. The Simic side has the inevitability right now, and if you just kind of want to tick Karn's loyalty up anyway for those purposes, then that play is totally fine. But it just shows the power of Ren and 6. I think we would start to be saying that the Jund deck is pretty buried if we hadn't had Ren around to finish off the Oko and to synergize with Liliana, and now to kind of undo the liquid metal coating Stone Rain plan. So lots going on.
Oh, for sure. Now that you said that, I'm thinking that Ren is getting the MVP on the Ironworks side. Now, I was assuming Deathrite, but yeah, Ren is really holding it together for him right now.
Yeah, they've both been quite nice.
For sure,
no doubt.
I think Nastier's position is looking really good though. He's just slowly assembling more lock-ish pieces, and yeah, he's just pulling ahead bit by bit.
Yep. What does Ironworks have in hand? What did he draw for turn?
1 second here. It froze for me, so.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, it looks like it was maybe just a fetch land.
Okay. That is not what he needed.
No.
Unfortunate.
But so Liliana cashing in to trade Emery. The other Emery, of course, has been gone by the wayside. So in theory, the Emery lock has been dealt with, right?
Oh, that's true.
Or the loop rather, not the lock.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what would dig Ironworks out here. I guess an Oko would be good for him.
I know Oko is
like good. Oko. Yeah. Maybe Bloodbraid into Oko would be pretty busted. That would.
Yeah, we're looking for some of the hype like that. Some of the classic wet Jund top decks, right?
Right. Oh man, that's great. Let's see here. Yeah, he's got a lot of 1 mana stuff that just won't do anything. He does have 2 Abrupt Decay. I don't believe he's cast 1 yet, so he could be looking to that.
Gotcha.
That would unlock his 1 mana plays anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. And once again, Nostier just kind of consulting the sideboard, he's drawn Mox Opal for turn. Obviously, that's not directly impactful. But the thing about these affinity style decks, you can usually find a way to make even stuff that's bad on the face of it do something for you, right? So
Yeah.
they're going to tutor. So Nastia has identified a piece here. Going for an EE. Going for an engineered explosives. Maybe on 2 to stop the Ren from ulting. Are we feeling priced into that?
That's my guess.
Yep.
On 2. All right.
There it is.
He's just able to just hit from so many different angles, different times here.
It's true, but as we mentioned, this value of Ren, it's really forced a relatively suboptimal play here.
Right.
You have to take Karn down. You're going to lose him next turn. You have to now lose an Opal as well to hold up the hard cast Force of Negation, which is his only card in hand. And that play might look a little strange to Ironworks if he doesn't. Like, that might make him wonder what else is in hand. He might know that there's a Force now if he's, thinking that way. But, yeah, Ren doing so much and finally, drawing the EE, which proved to be a 2-for-1 against the EE's controller, right? You don't see that every day. So
no, you sure don't.
This is a really cool game, man. This is a really cool game.
Oh yeah, this is fascinating. We have an insane top deck here. I wonder if he's considering this the Force because he drew an Oko.
Oh, and that is indeed an insane top deck, but that's exactly what we were talking about. Does he have the read for Force?
Yep.
Or are we gonna? What else is in his hand right now? We have a
Thoughtseize and a Tomb over here. So.
Oh, and a Tomb. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I even if you have the read for Force, I'm not sure. Like you kind of have to do something here.
I agree, because like the only other thing to really do is, maybe I'll draw a discard spell to force it through, but that's locked out by Chalice. So yeah, exactly. I think going for it's totally fine there.
Right. So here so now he's got him Nastia empty-handed, it looks.
Yep, and then the top deck was a pretty much brick of Botanical Sanctum, although notably it is the second green. But Deathrite Shaman is slowly just, draining the opponent out here. Blood Buried Elf, few hits, a few more activations of Deathrite. We could see Jund from a pretty precarious spot, achieve the game 1 win here. But obviously the top decks are pretty huge on this side potentially, so he's got another shot or two. And he top decks an Uro. Oh man,
that's huge. Oh, that is huge. Wow,
that could very easily have ended the game if not for this Deathrite Shaman, right? This could have been like the big brick wall.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
As it is, it's still incredible. And he draws another Uro off of this Uro.
Oh my.
Yep.
That's see how powerful that card is also.
Yeah. So we are going to see just a big X for 1 off of the first Uro. And then the reason we mentioned Deathrite Shaman here, even though he doesn't have priority right now, is because all Jund needs is a kill spell and then the Deathrite to eat the back half, and they have not been fully buried. But again, there's another Uro in hand. So this is why this card got banned, right?
Right. Oh, for sure. It just they spend so much time and resources to deal with one. It's just like, okay, that's nice. That's nice. Here you go. Here's another one.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Oh man. A bolt. Yikes, that's rough. So we have a bolt and a Thoughtseize in hand. This Thoughtseize has just been hanging out forever. Yeah, the Chalice is doing so much work.
Yeah.
This Uro was like just exactly what, or the chaining Uros is exactly what Nastia needed, because this game has been really swingy. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Nastia was in a great position, and then it looked like Ironworks had just barely fought through enough and was going to maybe pull away with this Deathrite, just the incremental just draining. And just so much work undone right there, just like that.
Right there, yep. And again, if it was only the one, I would say, okay, Jund can still top deck a removal spell, deal with it with that, right? But there's another Uro in hand. I think this game is over.
Yeah, it's looking, yep.
Yep.
that way as well.
Yep. And he draws Karn. Woof. Woof.
How much mana does the I never pronounce it correctly, the Microsoft lettuce take?
What is that? Is that 6? It's been a while since it's been
Yeah,
legal
I wanted to say
modern.
it was 6 or 7, maybe. Can't
It's not
remember.
that. I was going to say 5 or 6, so it is probably 6. Let
Let's
me
go
look it
quick
up
and look
real
at it real
quick.
quick.
We have a third Uro off of this first Uro's attack trigger. It's getting a little ugly here, not going to lie.
Oh my.
Yeah, Lattice is a 6 drop. It has a mana value of 6. Let's use the new terminology.
Oh, okay. All right.
I will say,
Sound a little more
amongst
professional
my
there, right?
Yep. And we see a Heart of Kieran, definitely an interesting one, and that's the scoop. Man, I love Nostier's deck. I love Nostier, but that was painful just to see Jund doing so well, and then Uro just solos it. Ooh.
Right. We had the grinds and the swinging, and then it's like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
Earl comes and like, you guys had fun. All right, it's
But
time
yeah,
though.
exactly.
Oh man, we got sideboards here. Let's
Yep.
see. What would so on your side, or Nastier's side, what would you be reaching for?
Well, I can tell you what he's reaching for, and it's I took a look at this before we started recording just to get an idea. And
Sure.
Nastia is sideboarding a little bit more aggressively than I probably would, but he's also
Interesting.
probably correct, and I'm not. I will
Okay, yeah,
definitely
you're right.
that. But he's bringing in 3 Mystical Dispute and 1 Fire Spout, cards that can
Mystic
definitely
Dispute.
line up. But
Interesting.
Mystical Dispute, I think, is just respecting the Oko more than anything else. And then, a bad Monolith can still be okay against Jund. But I think if it was just blueless Jund, true Jund, I don't think he'd be
Right.
bringing these in. And then he's got 1 Fire Spout, too, trimmed around the edges with some of the artifacts, including 2 Tormod's Crypt. How about you? What Ironworks reach for
Okay.
you?
Well, I wish I could tell you, but it's not loading for me
Ah,
on
too
the
bad.
screen. So I
Okay,
was just looking at his sideboard on paper or
sure.
on the photo, the screenshot here. But hopefully that'll pull up in a moment. But I guess if I were him, I would try. I think Grudge. Grudge looks good.
Yep, no doubt.
Boil. Well, you know what? Actually, I say
No,
that, but now I'm gonna have to
yeah.
second guess that because we saw a lot of like Waterloft Grove
There's
and
actually not a single island in Nostier's deck,
yeah,
if I'm
yeah. So
mistaken.
just think,
Yep,
assuming blue, and I'm like looking at Boyle, I have to take that
right.
back.
Yeah,
Like, hold up, not correct. So now,
yep.
spell bomb, a couple spell bombs. There's a lot. The chalices are just super.
You're
They're
right.
brutal here.
You don't want to play too hard into the chalice, but a lot of the
Exactly.
good spells are 1 drops. So I would say maybe you cut bolts, but then bolt answers Emery really well. Emery's a huge problem. So some tricky sideboarding for Ironworks, and yeah, there's probably a little scope to play duress too, but maybe it's just a one of at the most because there's the concern obviously of not being able to take Emery and Uro, but duress hits a lot too. So I think it depends on what needs to come out. But we got Bob on the play.
The rest hit some bombs.
It does. Inquisition into Bob is a wonderful start for
Oh,
this jump.
that's a beautiful start.
Yep.
Very
Nostier's hand is powerful, but a little clunky, but it is protected by double force of negation. We've got a second Emery, a mystical dispute, and a Karn the Great Creator in hand, in addition to 2 forces. And we see the power of the artifact lands powering out a turn 2 Emery despite no supporting cast of any actual artifact spells.
okay.
A lot of people say the artifact lands are silly to remain on the ban list. I don't have a strong opinion on it, but I don't know if I agree right out of the gates with that. It doesn't seem obvious that they're a good unban to me.
Sure. Yeah, I'm in the same boat with us. I've heard some arguments each way, and
Yep.
I've heard actually pretty balanced opinions
Yeah.
on those.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
I'm just on the fence with those. Like, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, I
All right,
respect
sweet.
that.
I got some life going on here. So we have an Oko in hand, and we have Thoughtseize, Bolt, and Bloodbraid.
Yes, but you missed the third land drop, which is pretty
That's huge.
significant.
Hmm.
The Jund deck would be doing everything it wanted to do if it had been able to curve out, because we see
Right.
Lightning Bolt has been in the field, so we could have bolted Emery, and then maybe that would have drawn Force of Negation. You get to the 2-for-1, and then you just play a land and Abrupt Decay Emery. It would have been amazing. But
Oh yeah.
so unlucky for Ironworks to miss that third land drop despite an active Bob. We do see Bob will flip one though, so we're operational again.
And actually, we drew a land as well, so we're doing a little bit late, but we might be able to get some good things rolling. I wonder if he tries to cast this Oko. It'll be
Yeah, I
interesting.
don't know. I think removing Emery is a huge concern. If he thinks Oko can resolve, that's one way to do it. But he goes for Lightning Bolt. Nostier
I
doesn't go for the Force, just allows the Bolt to resolve.
I like that from both sides actually,
Me
and
too.
this way he can try to clear the way for next turn with the Thoughtseize.
Oh, he's got a Thoughtseize in hand too.
Yeah, so I think that's playing it safe. I do like that a lot.
Gotcha. I might almost have led on the Thoughtseize, to be honest, but I do like these two spells rather than going for Oko. And I guess the Thoughtseize would have gotten forced, so it's all academic
Okay,
anyway. And
okay,
that's what we do second main. Cool.
nice.
Yeah. Another mystical dispute has been drawn.
Oh wow.
They're looking a little clunky, but they do pitch to force, and if now's the time to go for Oko, of course it can beat that.
Um, let's see. Was Oko revealed? Does he know that there's an Oko coming?
No, but
Okay,
again, mystical dispute I assume is only in the deck because he's got to beat Oko on the stack.
sure, sure. No, I'm just saying like it's actually a really good draw because we have this Oko right here, and I think we
Yeah.
drew Liliana also. So interested to see what he
Ooh.
goes for here. Yeah, this,
I mean, if mystical disputes on his radar, Lily would be a really cool way to beat it right now.
yeah.
Mystical can't even be hardcast, so
Oh wow, yeah.
they'd have to
Okay.
force the Liliana by
Very
pitching dispute. Lily gets a 2-for-1 that way.
exactly gets the 2-for-1 job done. Oh
Yeah.
man, he's all right. So he's hovering. He hovered over the blue and the green on the breeding pool. There's some serious consideration going on right now.
Yeah, a
Oh man.
big
Oh boy. Here
decision
we
for
go. Ooh.
Oh, tap on tap. What's
Oh.
it going to be? Heavy fetches. Oh, the suspense.
Right. He, he got me real good too, just bouncing back and forth on the colors.
Oh, wow. Things just sped up for me. We had a little bit of lag and then it all cut up. Looks like he went for Ogo and it got disputed.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep. That all
That's why I
happened
was over
right.
here half freaking out, like, oh man, the mystical.
Yep.
So
That Nostier rips Chalice off the top. We'll go for that. We saw how good it was last game on one. Bolt in response, and now we need Dark Confidant to pull us away here on the Jun side. The life total is getting
oh
really low off of Bob, but
wow.
Lily's been flipped.
The Bob's doing work here, but it's also hitting us pretty hard. The unrevealed draw is a Colligan's command though.
Oh, but he goes for
Yeah.
the Bloodbraid Elf despite, and it's not rewarded.
Oh no.
Cascading into an Inquisition. That
Oh
is so
man. Oh wow. Oh,
yep.
that's a real decision point too, though. So
I still do kind of like the Bloodbraid play. It can obviously fail with the Cascade, which is what happened, but really, the race is very important right now.
yes, I agree. Right now that Nasty is kind of stumbling a little bit, putting just pressure on the board, moving quickly. Yeah,
Yep,
no, I
exactly.
agree.
And
It's
Bloodbraid
great.
Elf is pretty much always your highest upside player, right? But in this case, it's a really high floor play too. But right in time, who shows up when the Simic tech is on the ropes? It's Uro. Uro. Gonna
Oh,
gain some life, gonna draw a card, but still just a little choked on lands.
sure.
Thoughtcast is now in hand, which can pitch to force. That Karn is still in hand. But Ironworks might be able to close out the game this time. I'm thinking that's the likeliest outcome here. We got a Ren that's been flipped, Bob living on the edge. And
Oh man,
the K
Bob's
command is going to not quite finish off Nostier with the shock, but we're getting real close.
Bob's just making sure to keep a very interesting game, suspense on both
Oh,
sides.
yeah. Bob
See,
respects the audience here. Bob wants to
exactly.
put
That's what I
on.
was gonna say. Bob is considering. He's trying to make better content. Love to see it.
So true.
Right.
All right.
Uh,
So, hey, turn two Bob on the play has been the difference maker this time. We've seen the power of Ren. We're now seeing the power of Bob.
right. And that's exactly what I was thinking too. Is like imagine how much how brutal Chalice on two powered out super quick would have been.
Yes. And we can still see that in game three. That's a
Right.
real
Well, and after this,
danger.
I can see that possibly becoming a priority too, because the Bob and Ren have been really good here, and it's cool to see that Bob and Ren, just staples of Jund that you can play in just normal band modern, are doing a lot of
Yeah,
work here, putting practice. It's really neat.
absolutely.
I like to
A
see that.
fascinating play here. A Kolaghan's Command shattering the artifact land and
Wow.
forcing a discard. Of course, it will get Force of Negation, but that is certainly a weakness of those lands, right? And
Sure. Yeah,
look
that's
at
a
that.
good
Wow, we
point.
draw the missing land for Karn the Great Creator.
Oh man.
Definitely. Um, or excuse me, no, I was going to say Karn, but that's completely wrong. We're going for Uro, and rightfully so. Karn just leaves you dead. Here's
Right.
Uro. Here's Uro
Yeah,
to
Arrow helps
just
dig out here.
very end once again.
Dang.
Wow.
Every time, huh? Oh man.
Literally every
Oh
time.
man. Right.
This
I
is
I like the K command targeting the land. A little bit of thinking outside the box there, because like I'm automatically assuming, okay, this chalice is on one, locking on a lot of the cards. But
yeah.
I do like that line, considering something different. I think that was a good attempt.
I do too. Doing it on his turn definitely left Force of Negation as an option though. Again,
That's a
from
good
Ironwork's
point.
perspective, you're probably like a 2-for-1 is still good enough for me, but exactly the top deck of a missing Greenland is definitely liable
A
to
little bit of
punish it.
punishing
And
for
it
that.
did.
Right.
But we've got Lily to clear the way. Things are definitely getting a lot tighter than I think they have a right to be. We're now dead to a flipped Bloodbraid Elf next turn off of the Bob. So it's getting right down to the wire, and Uro can come back and all the rest. But
We get greatness at the greatest cost here. Oh man.
oh man, this is wild stuff.
Yeah. This is again a swingy. Like every moment I'm thinking, all right, it's gonna go one way, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty
Ooh,
fun.
Ancient Grudge, the draw. Not not really going to be a factor here. It's just another Uro turn, I'm sure.
Man. Right. Originally, I was thinking Ancient Grudge would be pretty strong, and there are places it would be here for sure. But it's interesting. Some of these more narrow sideboard cards that can be
Yeah,
really key and super powerful, and other times they're just a dead draw. Kind of
exactly.
John variant story though. So
Yeah, for sure. And that's a strength of Simic Affinity, right? Like you're playing a just permission and value ball Simic game, and then you've got all the really busted affinity synergies. You do see
absolutely.
a couple gaps in the synergy that you wouldn't see with a more focused deck, but that works both ways. You know, it's really hard to interact against in consistent manner. So
Right. Yeah. It's yeah.
we're
Uphill
seeing the
climb.
box get cycled, which isn't necessarily doing much right now, but it does just put another card in the graveyard for a subsequent row. Yep.
Right.
Bob will flip Deathrite Shaman, so
All
relatively
right.
painless.
Right. I was gonna say it's not the blood braid. We haven't got greatness at the greatest cost quite yet.
Exactly. We're pitching two dead cards on each side. The Grudge over here, the Thoughtseize over there.
Right.
And another Liliana. He's got another Liliana. He's got an out.
Love to see it.
G and Nastier concedes. Wow. The
Oh,
tightrope.
that was
So,
just the swinginess at the end there. I mean,
yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
awesome.
That was
Wow.
really cool. We
That
are
was.
seeing Nastier cut the Ancient Grudge, the one of that was in there, and bring back the fourth Chalice of the Void, which had been trimmed. I think on the play, I love that. Love getting the
Yeah,
fourth Chalice.
yeah, I agree completely. I
Yep.
really wish I could tell you what is getting switched right now. It'd be very interesting to see. We'll have to
It
ask
would be,
Fireworks afterwards how he sideboarded.
for sure.
But yeah, the Chalice
I wonder if I can
be a
switch
blowout
over
here.
to that one real quick.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna fire it up for one moment here. Looks like we got a Deathrite
Ooh,
boarded out.
yeah.
I just caught a glimpse of it.
I just caught a glimpse too, but he submitted. All right, so I'm going to go back to the other one. Uh,
Okay.
but
Very
yeah.
interesting to see a Deathrite sideboarded out. That surprises
Oh,
me a
did
little.
we? Yeah, that is surprising for sure.
Huh. Got a mulligan over here, so we're looking at two lands, Deathrite, Bob, K Command, Push, and Bloodbraid Elf. Opts to
Huh.
bottom to
Gotcha.
push.
Gotcha.
Decides not to bottom to push. Got some considering going on here. Bottom's to push. Interesting.
Probably about right. Nastya's got a 7 that's not like over the top strong
Uh-huh.
in an obvious way, but it's functional. It's got early game protection and late game inevitability. We have a forest as the other land, in addition to what you've seen go down on turn 1. 2 Force
Okay.
of Negation and a Metallic Rebuke,
Oh
getting
wow.
really permission heavy, and an Uro in hand. But Deathrite Shaman on the not on the play, but on turn 1 is a great way to get underneath all that. So
Right.
that's a good find. That's a good start for Ironworks.
It is a great start. Yeah, the top end of what you're talking about on Astia's side is yeah, it's pretty scary. So being able to pressure that and Deathrite potentially answering that arrow is going to be huge.
Exactly.
So we can roll
And
into Bob here. Is he going to be able to counter Bob?
no, because I was just going to comment on this. If the I'm sorry. Um, no, it's Bob will be able to get underneath it because Force of Negation cannot counter Bob. And if
Creature.
the bauble
Right.
had not been cracked, Metallic Rebuke would be live improvising with the bauble
Oh
for mana.
wow.
But since we don't have that, um, and I'm sure Nostier was aware of that, but the way his
Interesting.
hand was shaping up, I think he felt obligated to dig for something more proactive rather than to
Okay.
hold up Rebuke on T2. But the
Sure.
creature-based progression from Jund specifically, probably the 2 best creatures on turns 1 and 2 back-to-back, really rewarding the Jund player for all this. We
Oh,
have,
absolutely.
yeah, we have a Chalice of the Void and a second Uro in hand, in addition to the other things, but we're passing holding up our permission.
So yeah, this is interesting.
And
Permission
yeah,
is
you
what's
just can't really necessarily walk into that stuff. Can't walk into the Deathrite with your Uro.
right.
Just gonna try to like weather the advantage from Bob, the interaction from Deathrite. But man, on the draw, this is the type of Jund progression that was needed, especially with a
Yeah.
mulligan.
We've got some pretty good pressure. Yeah, a mulligan and draws are lining up pretty well here. Something that's interesting I'm seeing here is that he had the option to play a Bloodbraid with Deathrite for mana, and he
Yeah.
decided not to. So that's just interesting.
Well, we've got the revealed cards that Nostier knows about off of Bob are Abrupt Decay and Ancient Grudge. So
Ah,
Deathrite can also activate to good effect on the end step, and he's holding up at least 2 instants. So I think he's reading Nostier for permission and
okay,
deciding to kind of time walk him while holding up effects, and I think that's a wonderful play.
right.
Nostier has drawn EE, so that's
Oh,
a live draw, but now yeah, he might just be passing again. He is passing again. I think
this is
he's got to make this permission line up to have a chance. But
sure.
I think EE on 1, crack it to kill the Deathrite is at least live, right? But
Yeah, and pretty necessary at that because right now, holding up permission and whatnot, he's under some pressure. So,
yeah, exactly. He's under a ton of pressure, life total, and the card advantage. Bob OP, right?
oh yeah,
Bob.
Bob is putting in some work here. Not only is he trying to make good content, but he's also drawing a lot of cards.
Yep.
Let's see what
And
we got here.
the other thing about all this that you and I kind of agree that, making a proactive play there might have been better. You still get to hold up your Force of Negation that way. So I,
Right?
I, I mean, this is kind of the dream right now for Nostier, or excuse me, for Ironworks. But
Ironworks, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, interesting.
going for the Ancient Grudge. I understand that. At the same time, at this point, Nostier clearly has a handful of permission.
Sure, and that's kind of what I'm considering here is like if he just keeps passing, holding up blue
Yeah,
mana constantly, I mean, and he's not playing anything. He like, what else would he have kept? So I would be more inclined. So force is all. I would definitely be assuming that there's a force in there. I would have considered the Bloodbraid because it puts pressure on both the hand and if it lands on the field. So if it's force,
Yeah,
it can't stop the Bloodbraid. And if you hit a really good spell off of Bloodbraid, then he's spending the force on that and then can't
right.
counter the Bloodbraid because he spent resources there. So that's my would have been my inclination, but
Yeah, I mean, three great options there strategically. You
right,
can spin the wheel with Bloodbraid. You can continue playing draw go while you're pressuring and drawing 2 cards per turn, or you can do what he did and go for an Ancient Grudge.
right,
The draw of another Grudge off of Bob, I think, rewards his play, but Force of Negation, of course, able to protect it.
right.
Exiling an Uro. This is all just no matter how it goes, though. It's all good for Jund right here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say,
Yep.
despite that, the 2-for-1s are, I mean, that's John's game plan. I love to see that at the same time.
Yep. And Nastier has more than enough ability to keep up with those 2-for-1s if he's functioning. Not
Right,
especially functional at the moment.
right.
Once again, passing up the chance to power out a Bloodbraid off of Deathrite. Ironworks being very disciplined with those Deathrite activations. And we'll see what
Yeah,
else
he
he
is.
can do here.
Looks like we're gonna try to put a Lily down after he's seen 2 forces. Oh wow, he's going for a K command. He's
Oh,
very
man.
determined on this plan. Very,
Yep.
very determined.
He's going to get that artifact land one way or the other.
That's the
And it's
last
going to
thing he
work.
does. All right.
Wow.
Oh
What a
man.
game.
Oh, that's seriously. He worked really hard for that land.
Yeah, he really did.
Of note that the fact that the grudges got forced is actually pretty huge because the flashback just it doesn't
Yes.
matter now.
Good point. Very good point. And we do finally see that EE play made. And to be fair, I don't know how hard Nastier has been punished for not doing this. It's not, he
Sure.
hasn't been punished to an unwinnable degree. The death rate's been good, but the Bob is really what's, I think, carrying the game more than anything.
Yep. Yeah, I think I agree. I think Bob has done more than Death right here. Especially
Yep.
the fact that he really hasn't used the Death right to leverage mana to start,
Yes.
spending spells sooner.
Yeah. And on the other hand, Deathrite is a good safety valve for the inevitable stand at low life with Uro that Nastier
Right.
will make, because there is still an Uro in hand. But there's a thought. Wow,
Ooh.
this is a real Jund display. Like,
Yeah,
real powerful Jund display here.
it's looking really good here.
We're going for the EE in response, forcing a Deathrite activation with as little info as possible, which I do like.
Yeah, I like that too.
We will
I think it's
make
a heads up play.
here. I agree. And then we see a hand of Uro, Metallic Rebuke, and Mox Opal. So, Uro is the only proactive card in hand, but at the same time, putting it into the graveyard is a little sketchy too.
All right. So
And,
Death right in hand though. So would he be able to escape Earl? I don't think so, right? Right away.
if he has to draw another land and also get another card in the graveyard. No, he would be, if he drew another land, he could do it, an untapped land.
So that
So
that,
I like not taking the Uro there.
okay,
And
right. Right.
yeah, we've got Abrupt Decay held up for, if Uro did escape,
Right.
but still.
It's a good safety fallback there.
Yep. Now
Oh,
here's the Bloodbraid Elf you've been waiting for, Ben, and we
all right,
Bloodbraid
all right.
Elf.
Yeah,
Nice.
wanting that
So
to happen.
the Spellbomb could be held up here. The Deathrite Shaman #2 that we know is in hand could be played. It's all good. We're in a good spot for the Jund player. But we've said that before, and things have gotten flipped.
Right.
So Nastier not out of it yet.
And usually the culprit was Earl, which we have here. So
Exactly. Draw of Emery is not probably that exciting at the moment. There's just been too much interaction from the Jund side.
right. So what do you think his best draw would have been? The land?
I don't know. I don't know. We
A little hard to
probably
say at
want,
this point.
yeah, we probably do want a land in the top two.
Mm-hmm. Bobble.
He's gotta try to live in Escape Arrow, right? But there's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah,
It's
this
just
shaman is actually shaman and spellbomb. We kind of got the
yeah,
perfect setup here.
exactly. An Inquisition too coming off the top just to really keep the nice interaction coming.
Kind of clear the way. See if we try to get a lily down also.
Yeah, why not,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
he can
looking really
control
strong here.
and clear the whole graveyard out with Spellbomb.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
Really strong. Nice. So Bob, I wonder if Bob is gonna take the MVP status for the match here. For even, I mean, even if for whatever reason Ironworks loses, I still think for him Bob would have been the MVP.
I have to agree.
Yeah,
The
like we're
power of Bob on turn 2. Oh, he goes for Tarmogoyf instead. I mean, that makes sense. You don't need to fully clear that Metallic Rebuke out.
just
So
keep insane pressure, just tons of
exactly.
pressure.
Yep.
You have to answer a lot.
And it
The
is
only thing that,
a
well, it is
land
a
in a
young
Mox.
hand.
It's a land in a Mox Opal off the top, so that's going to be GG. Some breaking
Wow.
near the end for Nostier, but I think we can say that the Jund interaction was quite powerful enough to have forced a win there. And again, Deathrite into Bob getting under the permission, that is where the game was won. So, wow.
Sure.
What a
Yep.
game. That was a pleasure
That's,
to watch. Any other thoughts on that one, Ben? That was definitely an exciting one.
oh, that was very exciting. Like I think it was a battle, a hard fought battle, and it was
Yeah.
really neat to see. The, Nastier has so much card advantage that just naturally plays into his deck, and Ironworks did an amazing job of keeping up with that and fighting through that. I think it was a really neat showing. Good plays, good technical plays.
Yes,
Lines
very,
that I didn't
very
see, or I
cool.
would have, like outside the box, I would have just been like, all right, do this, and then you see something different. I'm like, oh wow, that was a really well thought line, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, no
Pleasure to
question
watch.
about it, man. Good times. So there it is.
Yeah,
There is our Slugfest quarterfinal for two of the fairest and most value positive decks in this tournament.
sweet, cool.
Yeah.
Ironworks, man, that was a complete junding. That's what that was. Complete junding, especially in game 3. So why don't you go ahead and tell me, how did that feel, man?
A little nerve wracking. I missed a land drop, and from that point, I felt a bit tilted. Not that I wasn't in control. I just felt like I could have been playing a little bit tighter. And but no, it's cool. I get to cast some of my favorite cards ever printed, including some of my favorite cards that should have never been printed. So yeah,
No,
it
it
feels
was.
good. I like destroying permanents. Got to do a lot of that. And yeah.
You were very focused on that land. That was
Yeah,
that land was
yeah.
not making it through the game.
No, he missed a land drop for I think 2 turns in a row. So I knew that if I could get rid of it, I'd be very favored to win.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely great to watch. Um, how do you feel about moving on? Your semifinal match is either going to be against humans or Teamer Mistakes. How do you feel about going into that match?
Well, I'd much rather play against humans. In our Swiss pairings, we came to the conclusion it was pretty heavily favored for me. Um, yeah, I'd rather not fight through any kind of value if I want to take the free win. But either way, I think that I've got some pretty solid game.
Awesome. Well, good luck in the rest of the tournament, and good job again, man. That was absolutely devastating.
Thanks, man.